Hello and welcome to this problem in which we're going to use the square root property, as it's called in your book, to solve quadratic equations. Now this method, we'll write down what it is. The square root property is, as it's referred to in your book. I'm not sure if that's what it's always referred to. I don't recall seeing it called like that before, but that doesn't matter. Basically what it says is, if x squared is equal to some number, and we'll just use n for number. So if x squared is equal to some number, then what we can do is we can say that the square root of x squared, which should be x, so the square root of x squared, which we're going to make x, is equal to plus or minus the square root of n. Okay? So x is equal to plus or minus the square root of n. Okay, so that's the conclusion of it, and that's what's very useful. So this is the hypothesis. This is where we start. If x squared is equal to n, then x is equal to plus or minus the square root of n. That's basically the summary of it. Okay, so where does it work? Well, it only works for an x squared and a number. Okay, it doesn't work if there is an x term. It doesn't work if there's an x term. So it doesn't work if there's an x in the question. It only works for x squareds and numbers. Okay? Only works for x squareds and numbers. Doesn't work if there's an x in the question. Okay, so what do we do? Well, it's different from what we've seen in the past, because when we tried to solve quadratic equations in the past, we moved everything to the left. This time, to use this property, we need to have the number on the opposite side of the equation, of the equal sign. So this is going to become x squared is equal to, if you move negative 16 across, it changes signs, so it becomes x squared is equal to positive 16. Okay, and then we have this situation over here. Okay, we have this situation over here. We have x squared equal to a number. Well, if x is equal to a number, if x squared is equal to a number, then x, which is what we always want x on its own. So that's going to tell us that x is equal to plus or minus the square root of n. So plus or minus the square root of 16. And now the square root of 16 is 4, so it's going to be plus or minus 4. Okay, now what does that mean, plus or minus? It's the first time you've ever seen this. Well, plus or minus means you accept both plus 4 as an answer and negative 4 as an answer. So this means x equals plus 4 and x equals minus 4 are both correct answers to our problem, or both correct solutions to the equation x squared minus 16 equals 0. Okay? Now there's one other thing that we have to do, and that is, could we solve that same problem using the difference of two squares method? So in practice, you're only going to have to use one method, either the first one or the second one. But let's see the same problem by difference of two squares method. Okay, so it's going to be x squared minus 16 equals 0. Now, the difference of two squares method is where you write each of these as something squared. So that's going to be x squared minus 4 squared equals 0. And then we have the little formula that we produced before. First minus the second times the first plus the second. Let's be consistent here. First plus the second equals 0. Okay, so if we do it like that, then the first one was x, the second one was 4. That becomes x minus 4 times x plus 4 equals 0. And split these up. And this is what we were doing very recently. So x minus 4 equals 0 and x plus 4 equals 0. Move this across. You get x is equal to 4. And move this one across. You get x is equal to minus 4. Okay, so x equals 4 and x equals minus 4 by the difference of two squares method. And if we looked up above, you see that x equals plus 4 and x equals minus 4 are both the correct answers. So whichever method you use is fine. Sometimes people will prefer one rather than the other. Sometimes one is just superior to the other or easier than the other, depending on the case. Okay, thanks for watching this far.